All right, guys, this is the Vader 125. A lot of guys would know this as a Grom clone, a Honda Grom clone. It looks exactly like a Honda Grom, but it is a knockoff version. It has the same size engine. The only difference is that it is right here. Oop, nope, right there. It is carbureted, right? It's carbureted, and it is not fuel injected like the Grom. Now, if you decide to buy one of these clone, there's a lot of things that you have to do with them to make sure that they are safe. I'm gonna make this video as short as possible. And I'm not saying safe as in like if you go out without doing these mods, you're gonna die, as in like a lot of these Chinese bikes, they break, and you should replace certain things so you're not left stranded. I'm gonna go through them and explain to them. And I'm gonna make this video short. I'm not gonna you're not going to see me working on it. This is already a finished product, and I'm not going to work on them and make this video like 2 hours long like a lot of people. So there are a few things that you have to do. They're not quality of life mods. So like I did get a fender eliminator for this. That's not going to be part of this. I'm not going to tell you about getting like a UPS USB port or like get a new handlebar, because that's not what you need to be able to ride it reliable. So this video is how to make this Grom clone, the Vader 125, reliable. And the first thing that you want to do is replace the carburetor. Right? And we're not talking about like once they come in and like put on the wheels and all those things. Okay, you have to still do those. But the original carburetor right here, right, comes. It's very underpowered. It has an EGR, which is it is used to regulate, emissions, and they had to put it in for California law. So hence why the rest of us has to suffer with it. You wanna do an EGR delete right away. So it would be a little black box right here. So it's the only black round cylinder here. So if you just kind of yank it out and you want to do a carb, you want to change your carb out, because the carb that comes with it is very underpowered, and there is a problem with the carb where the bolts underneath will shear off while you're riding and spill fuel all over your engine, and that's not really nice. So what you want to do is you want to replace the carb, and you want to take out the air box up here and everything, and you just want to replace it with a good carb. I have a nitty carb. If you have a little bit more money and you don't like tuning your carbs, you could get a smart carb, which is actually more efficient than fuel injection. So it would, if you get a smart carb, it would go better than a fuel injected Grom. Actually, it would be more fuel efficient. The next thing you want to do is replace the chain, right? This chain right here, it's a 428 size chain. You want to replace it with a high quality chain. The chain that comes with it is non O-rings, and you don't need to get O-rings. You can keep getting non O-ring chains, because non O-ring chains are actually a little cheaper. So the type of chain I got was an RK chain. You want to get 128, which is the size of this chain, but you want to get it heavy duty, right? I got a Japanese chain because the Chinese chain from the factory, it's kind of a little bit shady, and some people have reported that when it does break, it will tear up inside here, and it will kind of destroy the sensor inside this case, so you're not going to be able to ride it anymore after it does snap. So you want to replace it with a high quality Japanese chain, which is what I did. And also the next thing you want to do is you want to replace the oil, but you want to run it for at least 20 miles with the shipping oil, because the shipping oil is made to break in the bike. So you want it to grind, and but you want to make sure that the oil is at the correct level. And you just kind of take out this dipstick, you wipe it, and you stick it in, and then you look at it again. That's just how you check oil, right? and then you want to switch it with a 10W40 weight oil. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to, if you replace the carb, you want to replace the exhaust, because the carb you want to get a 26 millimeter carb, because it came with a 22 millimeter, and that's too small, and it's not enough power for this engine. So that's what you want to do. You also want to replace the sprocket with a 17 teeth. This 14 teeth is not going to give you a lot of problems. It's just that the 17 teeth is going to allow you to ride at the more better RPMs and at the better speed, and you're not going to waste as much gas with because the way this is built is it's built like a pit bike, like a dirt bike, and you don't need that because you're not climbing up a 90-degree incline. All right, so those are the main things. The thing that you also want to replace is these two mounting bolts, right? You know, this is one, and there's another one down here. I'll have to go to the other side. So we'll go back to the first one, right? You have this one, right? You have this mounting bolt, which is right there, right? And then you have the second mounting bolt down here, right? Down here it goes like next to the chain, so you have to take up the chain cover to get to it. And that one is harder to replace than this one. This one was very easy. And the reason you want to replace that is because the factory that it comes with it is a grade 5 bolt, and it is not strong enough to hold this bike while it's vibrating, right? And then if you look into it, you'll see that the hole inside, the engine mounting hole, is a lot bigger, so it causes a lot of vibration. So the grade 5 will not be able to hold it. So you want to get a grade 8 or above. This is a grade 12.9. I mean, I recommend a 12.9. If you can get a grade 12.9 and get a grade 12.9, I don't see why not. But a grade 8 is a minimum bolt. They are size. There are 120 millimeter long bolts, and they're size M8 and 1.25 thread. All right, so M8 1.25. All right, so you can kind of find that on Amazon. That's where I got my 12.8 from Amazon, but there's a few bolt places you can get. Very few places sell a grade 12.9 in this size, so you might need to order them, but they're worth the order. The next thing is, if you do replace the exhaust, which I recommend you do, because you're going to replace the carb, and if you replace the carb and you get the cold air intake, this one, you want to have the exhaust be able to accommodate that easy flow. So when you get these exhausts, most of the time they will touch right here, and a lot of people right here, the frame. You don't want the hot exhaust to be touching anything, really. So I wrap it with exhaust wrap, which I use. I really don't like using exhaust wrap because when it does rain, it rusts. It's hold water to the steel, and it does rust it. So that's something that you have to do if it is touching, unless you're not riding it more than like 5 or 10 minutes a day. But if you're riding it like a commuter like I am, you kind of want to make sure you protect that as well. And the good thing to do with this bike is to get a nail polish, a black nail polish from a dollar store, because as you're working on it, they scratch and the paint really easily, and you just want to be able to just paint over it to make sure that the metal that's exposed is not rusted. So like when I was tightening this in, there was like a bunch of paint I was scraping. When I was messing with this, you can kind of see like I put black nail polish here because I kind of exposed the metal, and you don't want to expose any metal because the rust will actually eat away at these. When this bike came, there was a lot of exposed metal already. I didn't even touch it. You just kind of want to go around and just kind of like put black nail polish on anything that you see starting to rust or you expose metal, which is like usually on these wells there's quite a bit actually. So that's kind of one thing that you want to do. Also, another thing that I found out with these bikes is as I was working on them, I find that a lot of bolts on these bikes were very loose. So it's a good idea to go around and tighten all the bolts that you see, like every single bolt that you see, kind of tighten it. Also get Loctite for every bolt that you put back in. So like you can kind of see like right here, there's like Loctite over there. And FYI, you do have to loosen this. You have to take this bolt out on both sides, and you have to like literally back this out all the way and kind of loosen it to be able to work with that that mounting bolt if you do want to replace it. And when you do replace those mounting bolts, the last thing that you want to do is that you want to put that in. I'm trying to have you guys see that. So that's from the Grom. Is an engine guard, but it will work as a third engine mount because if you know anything about a Grom, they have 3 mounting point. The Vader only has 2, right? And the Vader, the Venom, they're all the same. The 125cc Grom Clone, they only have 2 mounting bolts. So you want to put in a third mounting bolt. There's 2 ways to do it. The first way is to do what I did, where you buy a Grom engine guard, and then you kind of just mount it on. You have to drill 2 holes because it doesn't line up, right? You have to drill 2 holes underneath, and then you have to clamp it down to that part, and that will allow it to let me back this out a little bit. Sorry, that will allow you to make it act as a third mounting bolt, and it does reduce the vibration quite a bit. So then you don't need to worry about when you go on a long trip with this that it might like snap the bolts. So those are the mods that I recommend that you guys do on them. I don't think I forget anything else, but if I do, I'll be sure to write it down in the description, or I'll make a different video. And you know, with these kind of bikes, I like to put stickers on them myself so that I could kind of know this is mine. Because if you do go to like a Grom meet, you'll see like hundreds of different Grom. Let's say like there'll be 5 or 10 different Grom Clone that look exactly like yours, and you don't know which one is yours until you put your keys in. So it's good to just make good markings so you don't walk around the parking lot lost, where, not knowing where it is, you know. Right? So that's why I put the stickers on. That's just a good idea to have. Yeah, make sure that when you do put exhaust that it doesn't touch, and if it does touch, use the exhaust wrap for sure. I'm not sure if I miss anything, but when you get these bikes, just keep in mind that there's a few things that's not going to work right. For me, I'm pretty sure the stator is broken because it's not charging, and then the backlight is not working. And if the first thing that you should do if the backlight doesn't work is, you see this switch right here? If it's turned to the right or to the middle, it won't turn on the backlight. You have to turn it all the way left. And if you turn it all the way left and the light still doesn't come on, and the plate light doesn't come on, but when you pull the brake light does come on, then there probably is, this switch is probably broken. So you want to go in and make sure that it's not loose, the connection is tight with it, and then you want to test out the switch with the dial meter, right, to get that beep sound. That's kind of all. I'll make another video talking about the mounting bolts by itself, because that by itself is very important and a lot of people don't know. So these are all the things that you probably want to do first. If you guys want links to the parts that I have ordered and replaced for these, leave a comment below and I'll be sure to put it in the description. If not, then you guys can find your own thing by yourself. But if you want links, then put it in the comment and I will put it in the description. Okay, I'm not gonna do extra work if you guys are not interested in it, right? All right, thank you guys. And if this video helped you, give a like, thumbs up, and stuff like that. Might talk more about whether or not to get one of these Grom clone versus a Grom or whatever. But that would be another video. But yeah, if this helps you, be sure to give a thumbs up. All right, guys, bye. I forgot to mention when you do replace the carb, when you take out the EGR and everything and you take out the old carb, what you want to do is this. There is an EGR valve right here. When you do a delete, you want to plug this hole by using the tube that already comes with it, and you can crimp it and weld it, and you can get like this seal if you don't have a welder and you don't have anything. And that's a lot of people kind of get really scared with these type of welding and stuff like that. You can just keep the original tube. It goes from here up to here. You pull it out, you get a 2-part epoxy that's high heat resistant, and then you want to plug the hole. And then you just let it dry, 1 or 2 days, and you can just put it back up here, and then you can just plug it up, right? So this bike, to mod it, it doesn't really cost a lot. And I also forgot to mention that the third mount, when I was talking about it, you could also do the more reliable version where you would weld a piece of metal right onto the cover. And I'll talk more about that in a different video. You can weld it directly onto the frame right here where mine is. Let me see here. See, mine is right here. You can weld it right into here instead of like having it bolted, and it will just, if you grab a piece of metal, you can kind of screw it in, and it will be kind of more stable than this one. But this is good enough, especially with the 12.9 grade bolts. So a lot of people do this instead, and it's quite reliable. But if you want to have a more reliable quotation, you can weld it right into there with a steel piece of metal. This is actually aluminum, big piece of aluminum. So yeah, that's something I want to make sure I mention before I forget it. All right, guys, I'm gonna keep this video under 20 minutes. So peace out. If you have any question, be sure to leave comment. And if you also need a part list, then be sure to put it in a comment below, and I'll be sure to list out the parts. It really doesn't take as long as you think to mod this. A good 2-3 days of like dedicated work should finish it in no time. But yeah, yep.